Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:30 on October 22nd. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta. We're taking a live look out at Chiloquin from the Clamoya Casino. But before we check in with those conditions outside, let's go ahead and check in with our top story. Grants Pass residents are speaking out against a homeless shelter that's one step closer to becoming a reality after a 6-hour city council meeting. We'll talk about how the community is responding to the shelter in just a few minutes. But first, Newswatch 12's Danny Stepanovich is joining us live in studio. And Danny, can you explain why the city council believes that this organization is the right fit?
Sure thing, Carlos. City leaders saw Pathways to Stability as the best chance to help people become self-sufficient and reduce long-term homelessness. They say the organization's structured approach and partnerships could finally bring stability to one of the city's biggest challenges. The City Council voted to award the Addressing Homelessness grant to Pathways to Stability.
Pathways to Stability is our #1 scoring applicant.
Pathways says its vision includes 24/7 managed operations, neighborhood security, and a dedicated hotline for local residents. The program will offer housing, recovery support, and faith-based mentorship with low barriers to entry and strict agreements signed before anyone is admitted.
Before we just provide someone housing carte blanche, we want to make sure their mental health needs, their medical needs, their addiction. We want to deal with those root issues.
The proposed site is at 1798 Southeast End Street, about a half mile from the nearest school. Behind me is the vacant lot that soon could turn into a managed homeless encampment. Now, the issue residents keep bringing up as I step off camera is that right across the street is a neighborhood. One neighbor who chose to remain anonymous says until the drug issue is fixed in the city, she doesn't see the encampment as a solution.
And these homeless people are dirty and they're not taking care of themselves and they're drugged out. And these young kids in elementary school don't need to be exposed to that.
Pathways officials say the program will include curfews, ID badges for late night check-ins, and a structured path to recovery and self-sufficiency.
We'll move mountains for someone who wants to change. You may come in, a resident of one of the encampments, but if you follow the steps, you're not going to leave that way. You're going to leave self-sufficient.
Pathways has spent the last 8 months coordinating with partners and expect the county to approve the location. Officials will hold an open town hall meeting within the next 2 weeks for residents to ask questions. Reporting in Grants Pass, I'm Danny Stepanovich. The county said the community's response at the town hall meeting could determine the outcome of whether or not the lease for the site is approved. Live in studio, I'm Danny Stepanovich.
Thank you, Danny. And with the city of Grants Pass choosing to move forward with the negotiation period for their $1.2 million grant for a new homeless shelter, they are not receiving positive feedback. City Councilor Indra Nicholas is just one of multiple Grants Pass residents who are expressing their displeasure with City Council and Mayor Clint Scherf. The Josephine County Board of Commissioners denied that they were in active negotiations with Pathways to Stability pertaining a site for the homeless shelter. And despite the site portion of the scoring criteria being worth 30 of 100 points, the group still totaled a higher score than 2 other groups who had locations secured.
I am so disgusted that 6 of my colleagues, along with support from the mayor, would vote to give the grant to an organization who flat out lied on their application.
To me, it kind of seemed like the grant was designed to go to them, but then open to whoever. It would be nice if everyone could just know that the city would be behind whatever applicant as much as they're behind Pathways.
The grant's request for proposal also highlighted in Section 3D that if an applicant did not have a location secured or have a clear pathway to securing one, that they could be up for disqualification. However, the City Council voted to not disqualify Pathways to Stability. And the city's grant decision for a new homeless shelter is still pending, and the Josephine County Board of Commissioners will discuss Pathways to Stability's proposed site tomorrow, a meeting that could impact the grant's future. We'll continue to follow that conversation and bring you the latest updates. And new this morning, Oregon is asking a federal judge to get California's National Guard out of Portland. The motion comes just 3 days after a judge stopped President Donald Trump from deploying Oregon's National Guard. The state says the facts of the new motion are the same, About 100 National Guard troops have already arrived in Oregon. Trump says their purpose is to protect ICE agents and federal property amid what he calls violent protest. Many local residents dispute that claim and say they don't want federal help. California and the city of Portland joined Oregon in filing the motion. California Governor Gavin Newsom is planning his own lawsuit over the deployment. But now,
it's another pretty cold start out there this morning. Chilly in the Rogue Valley. We're starting off in the lower 40s. We got some sub-freezing temperatures on the east side. But as we head into this afternoon, it will be warmer for the kids as they head home from school. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s today in the Rogue Valley. We'll be back into the mid to upper 60s for the east side. 72 today in Medford and Grants Pass, up to 72 degrees in Wairika, and 61 in Brookings. The potential for some showers in the morning, but it'll be very light shower activity, even some drizzle. All in all, most of the region, we stay dry through the middle of the week, but big changes are on the way as we head into this weekend. Tracking a series of storm systems to bring rain, higher elevation snow, and some gusty winds. Beneficial precipitation, though, for the Pacific Northwest, including Southern Oregon and Northern California. We'll dive into some what we could see as far as precipitation amounts. It's still a few days out. There'll still be some changes in precipitation amounts and impacts from this storm, but we'll get an initial look at this thing coming up in just a bit. Carlos.
Thank you, Matt. Klamath Falls police say they have arrested a suspect and accused of setting multiple fires through downtown last week. Now, officers say it started with a reported dumpster fire near 200 Main Street, followed by another on Main and a third on Pine Street. Surveillance footage and witness statements helped police identify the suspect, who was located shortly after the last fire. He's now facing charges of arson, reckless burning, and criminal mischief. Investigators say all of the fires were put out before they could spread or cause major damage. And today, the city of Grants Pass will be conducting smoke testing from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. along Northeast A and Wharton Streets between 9th and 10th Streets. The purpose of these tests is to determine the condition of sewer laterals, and the test will assist the city in locating breaks and defects in the sewer system. Now, during the test, you may see smoke coming from vent stacks on buildings or from holes in the ground, but don't be alarmed. The smoke has no odors and is non-toxic, as this will not create a fire hazard and will dissipate in a few minutes. And with fall migration underway, Oregon officials are urging backyard poultry owners to be cautious. Now, highly pathogenic avian influenza, or HPAI, has been detected in several flocks, and the risk increases as wild birds move south. Poultry owners should keep birds away from wildlife, quarantine new or returning birds, clean and disinfect equipment, wash hands before and after handling, and avoid sharing tools or supplies. Wine culture and tourism in the Rogue Valley is booming after they recently took second place in the 10 best wine regions in the United States. Newswatch 12's Grace Ritz visited Troon Vineyard to learn more about their recent harvest and how they are seeing the new tourism.
Fall season rolling in, wineries across the Rogue Valley will begin their grape harvests. Here at Troon Vineyards, their grape harvest was great, but they say that that's not the only thing that makes a winery great.
Weather plays a huge role in when grapes can be harvested, and the mix of sunshine and storms set Troon's harvest up for success.
We did see higher yields this year, so that's always, a benefit. When you get more grapes than you were anticipating. It was so hot in the early September, we thought we were going to just have a really early harvest because everything was ripening really fast. And then we had those storms and that rain, which is kind of weird. But then following that storms, it brought in this really nice weather. And that's kind of slowed things down.
Great harvests like these help Troon bring in more wine enthusiasts and tasters. And with Troon being the first estate winery in Oregon to be regenerative organic certified, they bring a unique twist to the wine culture.
is like super organics. It's beyond organics. We're basically building all these probiotic, natural fermentations that feed our soils. So there's no chemicals, no anything used in either the farm or the winemaking process.
But Troon isn't alone in their success. The Rogue Valley is ranked #2 for the best wine region in the U.S., and that has opened the door for more diverse tourism for all of the valley.
It's more diverse. People are coming from all over the country. It's not just people from Northern Oregon that are coming down. And we have people all the time from literally all over the country. We are all in it together, and we realize that the better every one of us does, the more people are going to come to this area.
Reporting in Grants Pass, I'm Grace Ritz.
And if you're looking for something to do tomorrow or this coming weekend, Central Point D6 Middle School Theater Arts is presenting 10 ways to survive the zombie apocalypse. Now, the play is about a group of survivors who go through many situations, from romancing the zombies, attempting to reason with the undead, and even trying to leave the planet. Performances are set for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. in the Scenic Middle School East Gym. Tickets can be purchased at the door, and they are going for $10 for general admission, $5 for students, and free for any kids 10 and under. And also this Saturday, the 17th annual Monster Dash returns to Lithia Park, raising money to support local teachers and classrooms. Last year's event drew a record-breaking 1,300 participants, and organizers hope to top that number once again.